Hello, we are live. Welcome to the Successful as Fuck podcast slash live stream slash awesomeness. I am your host, Raya Gonzalez, who has no makeup on today. Cheers. And I am here with one of my favorite people in the whole entire world, Dee Fretwell. And welcome, Dee, to the show.
Hi, thank you.
We are here, and Dee is radical because this show is all about real people who live real lives, who overcome real things, and are able to see the joy in even the hardest of things. And what I love about Dee is she's always that way, but especially in this time period of her life, she is expressing that joy in a way that is so inspirational to me. And I'll let Dee tell her story, but Dee, I would normally take you all the way back, like to the early, like adulthood, but let's take you back like 3 months ago. You know what I mean? Like, what do you think, what was success and achievement and, just like the best of life for you? What would that look like for you just literally like 3 months ago or 4 months ago?
Yeah. Um, yeah, well, I think I'm so excited to be here, first of all, because I just so believe in what you do and how you do it, and I'm so excited to see this book come to life. Um, but life is really odd, right? So 4 months ago, success was doing what I love, which
Yeah.
involves teaching at my local university. I'm literally at the office today, and working with incredible clients that I have as well through my consulting business, mainly as a fractional COO, COS, and just being able to have control over my time, right? My time, my schedule, how I'm able to service those who have needs, and being able to be discriminate so I know when to walk away and to delegate and find the right professionals for them, or and that to me success was more about the reach and the quality of reach that I was getting, and also having the wisdom to know when it was time to just release a little bit.
Yeah.
um, and I'm at that age, like I made it to the age where I feel like, and I'm never not learning. I have a problem actually with continuing education too much, although that's
Serial learners, yes.
kind of, yeah, I collect certifications like they're candy. Um, but I got to the point where I was able to really just allow myself the room to think I actually knew some things. I don't know everything, but so the things I know okay. And they were proving helpful. And that's really cool, right? Because you go
Yeah.
through your 20s and you're so young and you're not sure what you want to do. And then by your 30s, you settle in and it's time to really figure it out. And for me, the 40s meant I got it. Now I can really be helpful and know where I need to continue sharpening my own skill set. That's what success was.
Yeah. And tell this part like kills me because ugh. But tell the people who are watching what's happening for you right now in real time. What's happening for you right now.
Yeah. So my current world makeup is consists around, how do I say this without sounding like a workaholic? I have a very healthy relationship with work, but
Mm-hmm.
I really enjoy it, right? And all of that childhood past stuff we haven't hit on yet,
Yeah.
help cultivate that, which is a good thing. It's I find good value in it, and it's kind of my art, right? You don't want me painting you a picture, but a business plan is pretty great.
Yeah.
Um,
Yes, it is. I know because he made me one and it's fantastic.
well, you made you one. I just helped. Uh, and and it also means that I tend to be the breadwinner in my family. I'm the paperwork pusher, maybe a state manager, if you will. So all these things have been what my world makeup has been. About 3 months ago, I not neurologically deficient quite yet, but they found a tumor in my brain, and it's not cancerous. We don't think, but it's certainly affectatious to my day to day world, and I have to have surgery because they found a second one a couple of days ago. So it was such a hip place to be that I gained another. Um,
Way to be an overachiever, Dee.
I
Take it
yeah,
to the
I've definitely been chastising myself about no need to. I would rather be average right now. It'd be the best.
yes,
But what it really means is that my whole world stops. Right,
yes,
everything is stopping for a minute, and uh, it's a weird process because being somebody who tends to just chase things until they're done beyond completion, right, a little bit excess, it's very different. So success now means learning how to stop.
yeah.
It's weird.
It is weird. I've really appreciated and like hashtag this is weird but enjoyed. Um, you have started sort of a blog on Caring Bridge, which is a website for people who are like, stop calling me and texting me, let me tell you, and everyone go there.
Yeah.
Um, and you've been sharing your journey and been very brutally honest about how you feel, and you've been also sharing some of the joy that is coming out of this, in terms of people showing up in a way that you didn't anticipate, or just the surprise behind it. And that to me is really beautiful, because we don't know those things about, like, I actually literally have chills right now. Like, you don't know those things about yourself unless something like this happens. People don't just like randomly like say like, "Hey, actually, you're a badass and you changed my life and I want to like give to you and, like do all these things," until something like this shows up, because
Yeah.
it's like a wake up call. It's like, oh shit, not that like something's gonna bad is gonna happen, but it's like a wake up call that we are mortal and that so much can happen. And so why don't you or will you share a little bit about what the response has been like in your community and with your friends globally, really? Like, what has that been like for you to read those comments and have people show up in real in and tangible ways for you?
It's humbling to say the least. I mean, it is one of the, it's like a really warped version of the scarcity model, right? Where, the less that is available, the more people want it. And it's like when this thing happens, I'm normally the person who organizes fundraisers and events and
Mm,
all the things, and that when crisis happens, it's like, oh God, we have to act now because what if? It's the what if, right? At that
mm,
hanging goal, it's the semicolon there. And it it causes folks to take stock, like you're saying, and we all do it. We do it when we come across crisis all the time. And this, it always feels so good. I was talking to my children about this. It feels so good to give, and it's so hard to receive.
oh God, yeah.
And the community, and it's not untrue. Like, it's really a large. I've met a lot of really cool people from all over the world, and it's been crazy. It's like I didn't. You just assume that you're, impacting people or leaving some sort of, just try to be positive as best you can and to help
Right.
where you can. And I can't even grok it yet. Like, I have a sandwich has a
Oh,
sandwich named after me.
that's amazing.
We
They
can talk
named
about
a
the life
sandwich after
goal,
you.
right? Well, and Melissa, she's a badass. She's been through such adversity, and then like Northwest Pizza and Morgan is like incredibly crazy kind, and I have friends from all over just being so generous, and Teresa and Becca and Baxter and everybody are doing this massive music fundraiser, LSD Maselli in Phoenix, and uh, just a lot of movement from all over. It's You start to realize the lanes that you've been driving in and the people that you've crossed, and it's a lot. It's a lot, for sure. And it's so good because what I do is it all comes at you. And for me, someone like me, I need to compartmentalize it. And then nobody will give me their goddamn mailing address. So I can't send thank you cards or I've got like 300 cards I bought because I'm like, okay, I've got to start right. Um, so just sitting back to receive is
So hard.
Oh, it's just the most foreign thing. But the thing is like my family consists of my younger brother and sister who are wonderful, but one's in Australia, the other is like inundated with life and a bunch of kiddos that are precious as all heck. I get to see them for lunch today, but it's the first time in a couple of years, really. And um and that's it, right? That's like everybody else has passed away. And to have this community, and it's always been the case. I've been in this town for 28 years and I've traveled extensively. During that time, they are family, right? Your family. So um, it does, it fills the holes that I might have had or didn't realize I had.
Right.
There's not even, I don't have, there's no deficit. That's for certain.
Right.
The love has been incredible, and it's been powering me through some really lame moments. And I cannot imagine how useful and how necessary those are going to be when I'm like wrapped with a headdress from surgery or something,
Right.
like it's crazy.
I wish that there was a way for us to do this for each other when we're not in crisis. I know that that seems like, I mean, sometimes we need the adrenaline of the crisis to get it together, but even to recreate this celebration of like what the person, like what that person means to you. And like, seriously, everybody today should pick up your phone and just like scroll through your address book, pick one fucking person that you haven't talked to in years and tell them something that they did that really meant a lot to you. Or just say like, oh my God, I'm an idiot. It has been 15 years since I've texted you. Like, we didn't even have cell phones. We had shells back then, like whatever it is. But like, we have to prioritize taking at least the smallest, most minute amount of time to love on ourselves and practice that receiving, because I'm so bad at that too. Like, I've done healing work around it. I am like the biggest giver. I get so much freaking joy out of giving people presents. I'm the one that's like on Christmas Day that's like, okay, open it.
I
Like,
know.
like I can't wait until you see it. But like receiving it's awkward and it feels uncomfortable, especially when you are a giver. But we have to start practicing that in daily life so that when things like this happen, we can just sit back and say, I received that. I received that. I need that, because you do right now. You need all of this. You need your community to rally around you. You need your friends to rally around you, because you can't do it all by yourself at all.
I know, and I'm mad about that.
I know, right?
I'm the helper.
Like,
Bullshit. Like, I'm the helper. I'm the one who just I'm the facilitator. I'm the fixer, And you're not wrong. I mean, when you talk about Christmas, like I can barely not tell people what they're getting for Christmas. I'm just the worst at waiting. And this is now the biggest game of push and pull, hurry up and wait, that I've ever played.
Yeah.
And it's a trip, and I think if we all could, I used to do something like what you were saying, is I would do this thing where for like the last couple of years, maybe 3 or 4, I would just do what you said, flip through my phone and then just stop it. And then I would just text them and say, happy Friday. Hoping you have a killer Friday or whatever, or good morning, sunshine, something kind of silly and goofy, but just a touch point just for the heck of it. And I should probably do that again. Maybe I'll do that in May or something.
Yeah.
After the whole brain thing.
Yes.
But, yeah, it's a trip. I don't think I have anything but gratitude. It's like first generation college student in my family, and I've come pretty far. I've done some really great things, and I've got a lot of credentials, and I have all the right connections, and I know some of the best people there are. And if I die on the table, I've left some good impact, and I've got some incredibly brilliant children and husband and friends who will continue on. But I'm not going to, right? So this new round of success, I want to be successful as fuck in just getting this done.
Yeah.
Going at it, taking care of it, and bouncing back so I could do some more good work because we got some work to do.
Yeah. And then being able to redefine it again, like being in a new place and redefining it again. I mean, for me, it wasn't brain surgery, but it was being completely broken. And being completely broken meant that I actually knew what it meant to stop.
Yeah.
And I hated every fucking minute of it.
Oh,
But I
yeah.
actually knew what it meant to stop. And I was like, oh, this is what like, it literally took the universe running me into a cement wall to stop me. And knowing how to receive help, because I physically could not get out of bed. So to get up to go and use the restroom, I had to have somebody help me, and it hurt the whole way, and so I feel for my situation like it was a gift, because I wouldn't have stopped long enough to see those things around me, to even see internally that I can stop, that it will be okay, that things will keep ticking, that I will survive, that it will be okay, even if it looks differently, even if it's not the same as and it did, everything changed. And some of it for the good and some of it for the not good, but we get to redefine that at every stage of our life. And I mean, I feel like this is why I wanted to have you. I mean, just so the audience knows, we had this plan before all this shit went down. Like, we had this
because of the brain tumor.
Right. Like, this was not like, you know what, you have a brain tumor, you should totally come on my show. Like, we could talk about that. No, we had this plan. But I think the point of it is, like, we have to have these conversations in the moment when we are suffering, really, and when it's challenging, when it's difficult. And this was a big point of the book, was even in the darkest of moments, or even when you're fucking up, like it's your fault, which is not this situation, there's still wins in there. There's still things that can happen that are achievements, there's joy there if you find it, if you define it for yourself. I had a drinking problem, and I was like, dude, I drank 4 beers tonight. That is not 6. Motherfucking win. You know what I mean? Like that, that was for me, something that I had to embrace for myself. And people need to know that that's possible. It's possible to look at a situation like you're facing surgery, which is life altering in so many ways. Even if the outcome that is going to happens, you're never going to be, it's always going to be before brain surgery and after brain surgery. Because it's a like defining moment in your life. And I just think that it's interesting, and can be, if you allow it to be, cool, to look at how you feel right now and to document how you feel right now, and to go on the other side of it and be like, wow, I was able to handle it by grieving and allowing myself to grieve and allowing myself to be pissed off and allowing myself to feel all the things. But that allowing those emotions allows the joy of the sandwich that is named after you, and the music festivals that are named after you, and the incessant comments on your carrying bridge, and all of the and the totally inappropriate memes that we send each other. Whatever it might be, if you were like not embracing the sadness that you deserve to feel, how could you feel those things?
It's funny you bring that up. I was just saying yesterday to anyone who would listen, really, um, that my first MO is to go pragmatic and get all the things done that need to get done. You know, everything from estate planning to ensure probate's avoided, God forbid I croak on the table, to making sure the family has passport applications because they don't have passports right now, and just in case, right? Like anything to lock down those kind of tangible concerns that are a bit adulty.
Mm-hmm.
And it, like, I'm not good at a lot of things, but paperwork is one of them.
Yes.
And so if I can get that all cleared off, but I was realizing that I've probably been much too pragmatic. And I've been released from duty for next term, which is, I think, probably really good because it's going to give me a little space to just feel. So I want to kind of process all the feels too before I go under, right? Because once you go under, who knows what the subconscious does? And they're going into the brain. So it's like a really foreign scenario for me. But I haven't really processed emotionally. This is about as upset as I've gotten as today. And this is pretty much how I've sounded.
Yeah.
um, but it's starting to get real, and I think that's the key, you know. And all the little things that we do for each other every day, all the little fundraisers, all the GoFundMe's, all of the attendance to music shows and to the art shows, you know, all that stuff, I don't want to overlook that because that is support, you know,
Yeah.
and that is celebration of folks. And it doesn't have to be at Christmas or at someone's birthday or only when they're sick. I think we actually do it more than we realize. It's that we're not cognitive. It's not cognitively participation. That didn't make sense. We're not cognitively participating when we do that. We just think it's part of our day. So
Mm-hmm.
I actually think that we do celebrate each other a lot. We just forget to acknowledge that and just kind of say, okay, because it's impressed upon us in this current culture that if we do something, it cannot have strings attached. Otherwise, it's a very selfish or self
Right.
serving move, right? Um, and every once in a while, somebody's bold enough to say, yeah, I totally did that, so I felt better. But mostly it's like, oh no, I'm just doing that. I don't want anything back, you know. But at the end of the day, it's important for us to at least take stock that we have been able to celebrate folks and that there are lots of ways to support people for
Yeah.
sure. Um, does that even make sense?
Yes, it does. It does.
Okay.
Like what I was thinking when you were talking, because I always have two conversations happening at one time, one in my head, one coming out of my mouth, was like, there's so many reasons why, and I should just probably create this as merch and sell it, but there's so many reasons why I think that we need an adult sticker chart,
Yeah.
like just for ourselves. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, just be like, you know what? I took a shower today. Sticker. You know what I
I
mean?
went to
Like,
the gym.
yeah,
Sticker.
sticker. Like, just and get like a whole bunch of really cool stickers
Yeah.
and like shiny ones and holographic ones and puffy ones and whatever you want. But
And
I
then on
think
top of it, it'll say successful as fuck.
that's right. That's right. And then when you get to the end, you get a really cool prize and then you get to start over again. Like, but I
Yeah,
just
I get
think
down for
that
that.
it might giving, like either metaphorically or actually doing that
Yeah.
might give us we're searching for the ways that we're doing those things
Yeah.
or the ways that things are impacting, or maybe it's every time we allow someone to do something for us and we receive and we're like, you know what, that was hard but I did it, sticker. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and just like you're saying, like maybe we are doing things more than we think we are, but then we're like, oh, I went to that thing, or oh, I gave $5 to that GoFundMe, sticker. What? Like, and
Yeah.
surprise ourselves with how much we actually are engaged with humanity and with other people. And so like I hope that people take that away from this talk is like be aware, like
Yeah.
be aware of the ways that you are engaging with life.
Well,
Because
and there's a certain level of filter. There's if I can go super nerdy for a second,
oh,
Hans and
please.
Ola Rosling are economists out of Sweden, I believe. And well, Hans has passed away. His son is Ola, and they are part of the Ignorance Institute, where they actually study ignorance. And it's a very neuroscience based academic approach. And they did this massive study, like maybe 4 or 5 years now, that I'm sure Ola has ran with since. That was all over the global world, acknowledged the U.S. responses versus the EU responses versus media on both sides as well. And the spoiler alert is that we think certain things, fallacies such as the rich get richer, the poor get poorer, that women are not catching up in education levels compared to men, that more people are in poverty than ever before. And after doing extensive research, what they realized was actually the poor are getting richer. There's still discrepancy, but that globally across the world, we're actually increasing wealth pretty effectively, and that's wonderful. There's a lot of good work to be done. There are people who need so much support, but at the distribution, the richest are becoming the minority in a way that has never been seen before. That female education, is almost not quite, but almost to the same level as males across the world. That there's still women who have to fight every day to try to gain education, but as a whole, everything's actually better. You
Mhm.
know, and we're able to deal with diversity. That amount of people who've died from natural causes have gone down to like 10-15% of what it was 100 years ago. We're able to respond better in crisis. And so I think the trick is to start by trying to see things as from a positive point of view, as
Right.
an optimist, and to think, no, the rich are not getting richer and the poor are getting poorer, but we're doing better. We have to keep
Yeah.
trying. We have to keep participating and not become apathetic to what's happening. The Russia thing is just blowing everything out of the water, literally and figuratively.
Right.
And I think it's really hard on everybody's heart to try to understand why it's happening and how it's not just being taken care of.
Right.
Um, and so that's the kind of thing that on the heels of a couple of years of COVID is just utter bullshit. Like it's just how can you possibly even like cerebrally wrap your mind around any of this anymore? And then as that was happening, I got that diagnosis, and I was just like, oh, you're fucking kidding. Like I'm going to be in a hospital and there's going to be some nuclear attack or something
Right.
dumb. I'm going to be in Arizona, like hanging out with the cactuses, like separated from my kids.
Yep. Are you going to be at Mayo Clinic?
I
Yeah.
think so. The initially I was going to go on a different route, but finding a second tumor, albeit is not as scary or as intense as the first one, but a bug in your head is a bug in your head.
Yes.
I kind of feel like it's best to just surgery, and that's the kicker, right? Is that we're all pretty healthy people. I'm a very traditionally healthy human being, and suddenly here I am. I'm not. Um, and that's why success looks a lot different now than it
Yes,
did,
it
say,
does.
on New Year's Eve.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. I just, yeah, I can't even imagine, we all have our own things, but these are the things that just literally blow our mind, like, and
Crying
figuratively.
emoji.
Yeah. But there's this thing that I applied for the book. Basically, an ad company is giving away an ad campaign for the book, and it's for my cohort, and only 23 people had applied. So I applied last night, and it was like, why you, why now, or why this book, and why now? And I was like, why me? Because I'm a motherfucking badass, and because I'm a normal person who has gone through some shit, and I'm willing to open my big fat mouth and tell people stuff that's very vulnerable, that I'm still like terrified to admit, that I've made so many mistakes, and that things have happened to me, and maybe I handled them well, maybe I didn't, but like just sharing the intimate parts of your life is very difficult. And doing that in a way that hopefully will inspire other people to look at their life in a different way. And so that was my answer to that. And then I said, why this book was like, we don't have enough. Like, I'm sick of looking at celebrity crap. Like, I don't care That is not my world. That is not my life. Like, God bless them, good on ya. Like, but I don't care. What I care about, I said, like, I want the juicy goss on someone like me. Like, that's literally what I wrote. Like, I want to see like normal people and how they are handling things, and like, tell me all that juicy, like, your like story and what you did, and so that I feel better about me because I'm not alone. And then like, why now? I said, like, the world is fucked, and it has been, and like, we need to admit, and we need to look at that and say, um you know now is the time. Now is the time to celebrate, acknowledge the hard things, give ourselves those wins, be more cognizant of what's happening, and be there for each other and show up. And if that means that I open my big fat mouth, then so be it. And then I closed it. I humbly thank you so much, and I humbly submit the winning entry. Yours truly, Ray Gonzalez. I don't even give a shit. Like, whatever. But like, I just, that's why I did it, because I don't give a shit. Like, please give it to me. That would be great. But if we don't give it to me, whatever. But that's what you're saying is true. Is like, the world is in this such a weird place.
Yeah.
That when these things happen, you're like double whammy. You know what I mean? It's enough to deal with what's happening all around us, but then to understand that now that world and that war is happening inside of you, and in you it's happening in your brain, which is beautiful and helps so many people, and instructs other people to use their brain, and so that's a scary thing, because it's who, we say it's our heart, but it's almost like our heart is in our head, like and so it's like someone's trying to fuck with your heart, you know what I mean? And that's a really scary thing to have to go through. But if anyone can do it and kick it in the ass, it's Dee Fretwell. Like, I dare that scalpel to go anywhere it's not supposed to go, because you'll wake up and you'll be like, excuse me, you did that wrong.
Well, I joke, I'm like, what if I come back really nice,
No,
or like really mean, or, like I come back with a Midwest accent or something.
You say Wisconsin.
Right. I know. Or like, I don't know. Yeah. It's going to be something.
It will be what it's going to be. But I have every confidence that you're going to weather it with the most strength and grace, and that only good things will come out of it, because I believe that for you strongly. And I know a lot of people believe that for you. And I think there's strength in numbers, like, get all woo-woo-y about it, but like, put the good vibes out there, and the prayers and the thoughts and all of those things, because it's important that we do that for each other. So
yeah, I agree with that.
Thank you so much for being willing to share your story and just be with us today. I appreciate it so much.
Thank you.
I also love your freaking face.
Yeah. Oh, can't wait for the book. Show me the money.
Yes, show me the money. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining us. And we just thank you for sticking it out and listening in on this very, very important story. And we will see you next time.